Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. So we are from group 19 and today we will be presenting our topic legal enforcement and water pollution prevention in Malaysia. So my name is NURIN ELISYA and my friends Muhammad KHAIRI IRFAN and Sharnieda Andriana and NURIN NABIHAH and the last one Muhammad DANIAL HAIQAL. So I presenting chapter 1 which cover is introduction, problem statement and objective of this study. So as we know, water pollution is one of the major environmental issue in Malaysia. So activities such as industrial development, agriculture and urbanization have increased the risk of river pollution. So this issue not only affect the environment but also impact public health and water supply. So to address this problem, the Malaysia government has introduced various environmental law and regulations. So the legal enforcement plays an important role in ensuring that these laws are follow and pollution can be controlled effectively. So however, undang-undang Malaysia yang telah diperkenalkan macam kes pencemaran air masih berlaku dekat Malaysia is like illegal waste disposal and river contamination lah to continue to be reported, which raises concern about the effectiveness of a current enforcement measure. So based on this issue, so our study has three main objectives, which is the first one to identify the cause of water pollution in Malaysia, the second one to examine the legal measure used to prevent water pollution, and for the last one to evaluate the effectiveness of legal enforcement in addressing the issue.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will continue my presentation in chapter 3, literature. First point, source pollution. This comes from a single clear location. The best example is the 2020 Sungai Gong incident, where a factory illegally dumped chemical waste. This closed down water plants and left 1.2 million people in Selangor and KL without water for days. Second, non-point source pollution. This comes from many scattered places that are hard to track, like farm fertilizer, concentration mud and trash from food stalls. Today, vital rivers like Sungai Selangor are always at risk, forcing plant with shutdowns and sudden water cuts. So how do we control this pollution? At the national level, our main weapon is the Environmental Quality Act (EQA) 1974, which is managed by the Department of Environment (DOE). Within this law, there are two key parts to note. Section 27. This clearly states that no one is allowed to dump or pour any waste into river, lakes or streams unless they hold a special lesson from the DOE. Industrial Effluent Regulation 2009. According to studies, this regulation were added to strengthen the law. Specifically, Regulation 11 set strict legal limits on dirty water of effluent that factories can release. Factories must allow Standard A if they are near clean upstream areas, or Standard B for downstream areas. Furthermore, Regulation 5 and 6 legally force factories to build and run their own wastewater treatment system to their chemical waste is clean before it ever touch our river. While federal laws focus heavily on factory waste, the actual power over land and water resource belongs to the state governments. Because of this, each state has its own specific laws to stop illegal dumping. For example, Selangor uses the Luas Enactment 1999 under Section 48. Luas can declare certain areas near rivers as a zone of protection. In these zones, activities like storing chemicals or dumping trash are strictly illegal. Section 79 give a heavy punishment to anyone who pollutes a water source. These state laws are vital because they allow local authorities to act quickly and stop pollution before the contaminated water even reaches our drinking water treatment plants. Now, a big question arises. If Malaysia has such a strict law on paper, why does water pollution still happen? Recent university research highlight three major challenges. The first is overlapping authority by UIM study. There are a split in power. The federal DOE monitors the factories, but the state government control the land and the rivers. The split often causes confusion and delays during a crisis because a different agency have different boundaries. The second, need for immediate local action by UMT 2000 26 study. Current enforcement needs to change its habits. Instead of giving warnings, local authorities must take a strict, immediate legal action right at the ground level. The third is weakness in hacking corporate offenders by UUM study. Under the current EQA 1974, punishment often depend heavily on the judge's discretion. On big companies are often treat the same as individuals. The study suggests we need strong training for judges, clearly legal rules, and much heavier penalties for corporate offenders, so companies actually take the law seriously. So finally, let's look at the two different paths Malaysia can take to solve this problem. The legal approach. This use strict law, heavy fines and jail times. The advantage is that it creates fear. Big companies will think twice before dumping waste because they don't want to lose money or get down. However, the downside is that it is reactive, meaning the government only act after the river is collected and the damage is done. It also costs a lot of money and manpower to guide river 24/7. The education and awareness approach. This focus on teaching people to love the environment through school topics and public campaign like Cinta Sungai Kita. The benefit is that it stops pollution at the root. People stop littering because they care, not because they fear fines. The weakness, however, is that education takes a very long time, even generation, to show results. Plus, greedy companies will usually ignore campaigns because they are only care about profits. So in the conclusion, Malaysia cannot rely on just one method. The best solution is hybrid approach, a mix of both. We must maintain strict laws and heavy penalties to keep factories in check. But at the same time, we must continue educating the public from a young age so that protecting our rivers becomes a shared culture. That's all for me.
I'm presenting methods of getting information. First, secondary data collection. Information for this study is collected from secondary sources such as environmental laws, journals, government reports, e-books, and official websites. Important references include the Environmental Quality Act 1974, Industrial Effluents Regulation 2009, and Luas Enactment 1999 to support the study on water pollution prevention. Second, Internet research method. Internet research is used to obtain updated information about water pollution causes, environmental laws, enforcement actions, and river pollution issues in Malaysia. It also helps identify challenges faced by authorities in controlling illegal waste disposal and industrial pollution. Third, methods of data analysis. The collected information is analyzed using content analysis and comparative analysis method. These methods are used to evaluate the effectiveness of environmental law enforcement and compare it with education and public awareness approaches. Lastly, purpose of information collection. The purpose of collecting information is to identify the main causes of water pollution as a legal measure used to prevent pollution, evaluate enforcement effectiveness, and determine suitable approaches to reduce water pollution in Malaysia.
Next, I will discuss the result and findings of our study regarding water pollution control through legal approach in Malaysia. There are several major causes of water pollution, including industry waste, domestic sewage, agriculture activity, and improper waste disposal. To address this issue, the Malaysia government has introduced several laws and regulations. These include the Environmental Quality Act 1974, the Industry Effluent Regulation 2009, the Sewage Regulation 2009, and the Water Service Industry Act 2006. This law help waste discharge, protect water resource, and ensure proper water management. After that, effectiveness of each rule. This law has played an important role in controlling water pollution in Malaysia. The Environmental Quality Act 1974 helped reduce illegal pollution activities by allowing legal action against offenders. The Industrial Effluent Regulation 2009 improved the management of industry wastewater before it released into rivers. The water service industry Act 2006 helps ensure better management of water supply and sewage services. In addition, the Sewage Regulation 2009 helped reduce pollutant caused by untreated sewage. Overall, these regulations are effective in protecting water quality. However, stronger enforcement is still needed to prevent illegal pollution activity. Lastly, legal versus education and awareness approach. Besides legal approach, educating and awareness also play an important role in controlling water pollution. The legal approach focuses on law, regulation, fines and penalty to prevent pollution. It is effective because it provides immediate control and enforcement. On the other hand, the education and awareness approach focuses on environmental campaign and public education program. This approach helps people understand the importance of protecting the environment and encourage responsible behavior. In our opinion, the most suitable approach for Malaysia is a combination of both legal enforcement and public awareness. By working together, this approach can provide a more effective solution to reduce water pollution.
Okay, so now I will continue with the final slide, which is the conclusion. In conclusion, water pollution remains a major environmental issue in Malaysia that threatens water quality, aquatic ecosystem, and public health. Factors such as industrial activities, urban development, agriculture, sewage, and improper waste disposal contribute significantly to river pollution. Although laws such as the Environmental Quality Act 1974 and related regulation help control pollution, issues like weak enforcement, poor coordination, and low public awareness still reduce their effectiveness. Therefore, stronger law enforcement, stricter penalties, regular monitoring, and better cooperation among agencies are needed. At the same time, environmental education and public awareness are important to encourage responsible behavior and long-term protection of water resources. Overall, protecting water resources is a shared responsibility that requires commitment from the government, industry, and society to ensure a cleaner and sustainable environment for future generations. Thank you.